Hey everybody, this is Matt. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to our series on Santa Claus. And this will be the first episode for painting on the Santa Claus. I was hoping to put the Santa Claus, get all the painting done in a single episode. Don't worry, I'm going to readjust the camera in just a second. I know you can't really see much, but I was wanting to get all the painting done in one episode, and it didn't turn out that way. Because it took a little bit longer than I thought. It took me a long time to get his face to the color that I wanted, and so you'll see as I'm painting that I'll change the the tint of his skin a few times before I finally get one that I kind of like. But I get most of the painting done in this episode. Definitely most of the base coat. I'll come back and I'm gonna finish up whenever you see the end. I'll be coming back to get all the areas which I didn't paint, but I'll also be coming back to add some more layers of paint, different colors of paint to the rest of him, so it adds a little bit more depth to the painting. I do want to mention that leading up to this video, I did wash my carving, and if you want to know how to do that, you'll have to check in on the last series that I did, which was the Elf House. I think it's the final, should be the final episode of the Elf House. I show how to clean your carving before you want to paint it, or if you want to stain it, you want to clean it as well. But so far, what I'm doing is I always try and start out with my lightest colors, mainly because I try and get the light colors while the brush is still fresh. So that way it gives it the widest hue. So you'll see me getting the white around his hat. I actually end up missing, I forgot about the ball of his hat. I'm going to have to come back after this episode. You'll see me finish it in the next episode. But I'm getting the ball, I'm getting his hat, and I'm getting his beard and some of his hair, as you'll see. And again, this isn't just a pure white. I mean, it's white, but what I'm doing is I am coming back and I'm adding a little bit of water to it to try and not make it just a bleached out white. I want it to kind of show a little bit of the grain through. And if you want your carving to be a little bit more of an antiquish look, then what you can do is you just add even more water to it, and it gives it a real pale. You can kind of see around his ear how it's a little bit brown almost in his hair. Okay, so now I'm going to try and figure out how in the heck to get his skin to a good hue. And skin is always the biggest trouble for me. I struggle so hard with skin, and you'll see that I start out and I'm not really happy with this, so I add a little bit more brown. I'm still not exactly happy, but I go ahead and go through with it just so I can kind of have an undercoat of something. Another weird thing about skin is that whenever you're trying to paint a carving is that it has tons of different layers of colors, and so it makes it really, really difficult to do skin, or at least I think it is. So maybe some people are much better at it, I'm not sure. So we're still just adding this base coat of a real light pink. Of course, my Santa Claus is going to be white. Maybe yours don't. Maybe you don't want yours to be white. That's fine too. I'm sure Santa Claus maybe is in all kind of different colors. Who knows? Now I'm coming back with his lips, and it's really hard to see because I'm trying to be extra careful here. I always hate doing Santa Claus's lips. I've done a couple Santa Clauses, and every time that I do the lips, I end up messing up and getting red on his beard. And I think at some point I actually end up doing that. But whenever that happens, just wash your brush out and just come back with a little bit more white and just come right back over that same thing. I've actually stepped away from the carving, and the reason that I'm not cutting to the good stuff is because in Movie Maker, whenever I'm trying to skip forward, for some reason it's messing up on this video, so I'm sorry, but you're just going to have to deal with it for now with me. But what I'm doing is, as I'm walking off, I'm going to get a shade of yellow, and I'm going to add this yellow and burnt sienna together to try and give me a more realistic skin tone. So as you can see, I'm going back over my beard where I got a little bit of red on him. You want to really take your time while you're doing this, while you're doing the painting, because I mean it's really difficult. Well, some people maybe don't struggle as hard as I do, but it's very difficult to do the painting. So now it's kind of hard to see, but I'm starting to get a little bit more of the brownish color that I wanted in his skin. So I'm spreading that around, and it's going to end up working out, me using that, you know, real light pink, because it just adds, like I said, another layer of skin tone to him, which works out. So I'm just still adding more layer after layer of paint to him. I end up running into a problem, which won't be really easy to see from the video, but because I'm adding so many layers of paint, it starts to get to where I'm adding more paint than is drying, and so it kind of starts to get to where it's kind of runny. So you'll see me, well, you won't really see because I've got it on the fast forward, but I'll be blowing on it a little bit here and there. I'm starting to get a skin tone though where I want it. I'm not really sure the best way to mix paint, but I never just go straight from the. I try to never go straight from my draw pile. I try and always have another separate pile. And the main reason for that too is that it kind of gives you a little bit of it spreads the brush out a little bit better and gives it a more natural shape to your brush. At least that's just what I've seen. So now you can see this is going to be the final tone, skin tone that I go with. I finally find a color that I like, and so I'm going to kind of carry it on over to the rest of the face. I like to use my finger to merge everything together, I guess you could say, or blend everything together. It just gives it kind of a natural look whenever you use your finger. I've tried using brushes and things, and you can get a pretty good blend with a brush, but like a real dry brush. But I just like using my finger, honestly. And what I've done is I've also come back with that same skin tone, and I added just a little bit of red, because you know Santa's got to have some rosy cheeks. So now I'm coming back and cleaning up anything that I had touched on his beard. So I'm pretty happy with that skin tone on his face. I might add a little bit more color on this on the next video. I'm not sure yet, but I'm pretty happy with that. It looks like a natural skin color. And so primarily what you're going to see with the rest of the video is really just me filling in most of his red. I switched to a bigger brush because since I'm going to be covering so much ground, I just want to just get through it quickly. I try and refrain from any kind of detail work. You can switch back to your more detailed brush whenever you get close to some of the other items. So my Santa Claus is going to have, of course, a big red robe. It's not a typical Santa Claus who has a coat and pants and everything and a nice belt and everything. Mine's I guess you could call him an old school Santa. He's got a big old robe. He's going to have a really dark colored, maybe even black rope that ties his robe together. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to get the cane to color correctly, given that it's so close right there. I didn't really foresee this whenever I was carving it, that trying to paint correctly around that cane is going to be really difficult. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to do that. As I'm recording this, I haven't yet worked on the rest of the painting, but mainly what I was trying to do with this right now with all this red is I'm just applying a base coat of red to him, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to add, like, for the areas above, like where you would think the sun or a light would hit, I'm going to add a lighter shade of red, and then on the areas where it would be shadowed, I'm going to end up adding a little bit of a darker shade of red, and that just makes that'll make your carving look a little bit better, look a little bit more realistic. And I mean, we're not going for an exactly realistic look here. You can see his head's quite a bit bigger than the rest of his body, or compared to his body. He's kind of a little bit of a caricature, but we still want him to be kind of close. Now switch back to my detail brush. I'm going to try and bring some of the other items together. Some of the items that are going to end up a darker color, for example his belt, his cane, his gloves, even the bag, I'm not too worried if I get a little bit of red on them. I'm going to be coming back through and painting with a darker color anyhow on those. So you'll see me kind of rush through them, and then anytime I get close to that beard, you'll see me go extra slow. And you'll probably want to do the same thing on your carving whenever you decide you're going to paint it. And you may decide that you don't want to paint your carving. That's fine. Some folks don't paint any of their carvings, but for me, I like the look of a painted carving with this basswood, because the basswood's grain is not very, I guess you would say, it doesn't stand out very well. And so even if you end up staining it, I apologize if you guys hear that cough, because my poor wife is sick. But anyhow, if you do end up trying to stain a basswood carving, it's really difficult to get the grain to show up really well. So I don't really have a suggestion on what you should do in an instance like that, because I've never tried it with the basswood carving. Alright, we're starting to bring this video to a close. I'm going to be finishing up some around his hat. I'm just now realizing, by the way, at this moment in the video, that that I'd forgot about his little ball on the back. So anyhow, I'm going to probably work tomorrow on the rest of the painting. So I guess I'll probably have another video up sometime around Wednesday or Thursday for you guys, so we can finally finish out old Santa Claus here. And then after that, I believe that Jessica's been working on some wood burning, and we'll put a video up of that too. It's kind of a neat little video. She's got a nice little gift that she's planning to give to her sister and her family. But here, as I'm finishing up, if you guys have liked the video, I talked for this one. I'm trying something a little bit different, especially considering that the painting is much more, I guess, involved than a lot of the carving. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and if you have, please like and subscribe, and check back in a couple of days, because I try and make videos every couple of days and keep the vlog going, and your support is appreciated. I'll catch you guys later. Thank you. Bye.